Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I am spilling all the tea, all of my hacks, all of my secrets on concealer. If you are weak when it comes to your concealer game, this is the video for you. Okay, like this video is not for the weak. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the real deal. Like, I'm giving you everything you need to know about how to make and up your concealer game. Because, sis, 2021, it should be no reason why you still walk around here looking like you got a hangover. It's just no reason why. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So obviously I'm in a different setup. I'm in bed because y'all, I'm just cold. I'm tired. Like, I want to eat some ice cream and I want to go to sleep. And then like I didn't know if I wanted to do this video or if I wanted to do like a chit chat, pack with me, because I do have to pack because I leave like tomorrow. But I just don't feel like doing anything. I'm just so drained right now, but it's okay because I'm finna get my shit together. I'm finna get cute in the next couple of days, hopefully, you know what I mean? But hopefully I just turn it around and, you know, I just get my shit together because, yeah, girl. But, you know, the grind don't stop. So that's why I was like, Erica, even if you're going to do this video in the bed, we're going to give it to the people good. We're going to really, really, really do this video because I feel like it's overdue. So even if you're new to my channel, I feel like the first thing that you should notice about me is all of the blush and then that under eye. Like, this is what really makes your face. This is what frames your face. You know what I mean? So, let's also start off by saying this isn't a contour tutorial necessarily. This is just my favorite concealers, Drugstore and Prestige, and how I use them and what they are good for. Now, I do have a video on schedule coming up. I don't know the exact day. I cannot tell you that, but it will be next week. On how to properly contour and understanding the color and understanding more about colors and undertones when it comes to contouring and why that makes such a huge difference, and you know why you may not be seeing like the result that you want to see from your contour. Okay, so that's that. Alright, so the key to my bright under eye is a combination, a little concealer cocktail that I whipped together. I made this perfect formula. I'm talking like I done made the products myself, but I made this perfect hack about 3-ish, 4-ish years ago. So what you want to do first is you want to sculpt, and you actually want to, you know, build the base for your face. So that would be like your contour and stuff. Not to mention, my first step is always color grading. Okay, so I always like to start off with a creamy concealer down first, and this is also to say that I do full face. Like, I don't just spot conceal. I've never done that. I never see the point, because it's just like me. Like, if I'm going to spot conceal, I'm just going to use my foundation. You know what I mean? Because it's already perfectly matched to you. And foundations have more undertones and everything to them, so they can more match your face. So if you need a spot conceal, I'll just recommend just using your foundation. I feel like that's just make more sense. But, you know, that's just me. You know, that might not be everybody's cup of tea. You know, you can spot conceal with a concealer. It's totally up to you. But I use concealer to define and sculpt and brighten. That's what I use concealer for. Alright, so all that being said, I like to start off with a creamy base concealer first. They took my favorite off the market. I honestly don't know why, because it's such a life changer. And I've mentioned this I've mentioned this previously in other videos. And I've also brought this palette up in other videos because I've used it, and now I'm just like rationing out what I have left just for like those really bomb ass days where, you know, I really want to just like give, because, you know, but you know, I found something else, but it's still not that palette. But it is the MAC Pro Foundation palette. I absolutely love that palette. I'm not gonna show it. I'm really about to get off the topic of that just because it is unavailable. But if you would like more information on it, it's linked in other videos, and I'll attach that video that has that down below. But MAC, if y'all bring that palette back, I promise you'll sell out. Like, that palette is so good. But that's enough of that. But yes, I like to start off with a creamy base under my eye first when I'm doing my concealer method. So I use a creamier, more fuller coverage foundation, but I do use a fuller coverage foundation. So I use a fuller coverage concealer, excuse me, with a creamier base as my first concealer. This concealer is what's gonna sculpt, what it's gonna build, and it would be like the sculpting part of your contour. So your contour is going to be your shadowed area, and your highlighter would be your concealer. Does that make sense? So you will highlight under the eye, down the bridge of the nose, below the chin, the forehead, areas that you want to draw attention to that the natural light would hit. So you see, like, I have nothing on right now, where the light is naturally reflecting. So it'll be like here, 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 yeah, you know, that's like the areas that you want to highlight. So that's where you were going with your creamy concealer. And you want to do a creamy concealer because the light is going to reflect off of that. Now, I know what you're thinking, like, Erica, nah, bitch, I don't know about this concealer. Concealer is not what gives you flashback, guys. It's the powder what gives you that flashback effect. I use a hella light concealer, as you're going to see when I start mentioning these products. But that's not what's gonna give you flashback if you're having flashback issues. What's giving you flashback issues is you not properly setting with the proper powder. Now, I know, like, you feel like, why can't I put all of this in one video? Because it's a lot, and I don't want to just like throw it all at you, because it is a lot, and I wouldn't want anybody to throw all these words at me, especially when I'm not demonstrating. I'm just giving you the products and telling you about it. Does that make sense? I'm trying to make it make sense, because I feel like I didn't know how to bring this video without it being so overwhelmingly too much information. Like, because I have tutorials, but I don't think I have anything where I really just like sit down and break it down, because that's a lot, and I just feel like that would be too much for me to try to apply it and break it down. So that way you can kind of like hear what I'm saying, and then apply it to like other videos that I've done. That way you can kind of like see it in action. But I do have other videos that are coming up where you can see a little bit more hands-on, but I don't want to keep having these really long 30-minute videos, because I hate that. I hate editing them, and you know, people don't watch 30-minute video. You know, I don't have like a TV show, you know what I mean? So that's that. So creamy concealers that I love for under the eye. Like I said, that MAC palette was just my jam. Too Faced had a really nice creamy pot concealer, and so did Anastasia Beverly Hills, but they are also discontinued. But you know, you can try to, I've been looking out for them in TJ Maxx and stuff like that, because you know, they can have like the discontinued products, or you know, just the products that they don't have anymore. TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ross, they may have those products, so just keep an eye out for them. The Too Faced and the Anastasia, they will probably be in TJ Maxx or Ross. MAC, I don't know about them. I've never seen like a MAC product in TJ Maxx. No, I take that back. I got a highlighter palette from MAC from them one time, but other than that, I've never seen like any, like, you know, like a lot of stuff like you typically see for like Anastasia, stuff like that in TJ Maxx. But yeah, so on the mass or drugstore end of the spectrum, the creamy concealer that I would recommend is the PLouise eyeshadow base. And I know what you're thinking, yes, it's an eyeshadow base, but she uses this under her eye, and I'm not gonna lie, it's really difficult to do this without using it as a two-part step, because if you apply too much, it can get really, really messy. But this is a beautiful, beautiful creamy base, because it does blend out with your foundation beautifully. But if you don't blend it enough, and if you don't literally use the same method as applying it to your eyelids when you're prepping for your eyeshadow, it will not work. And I use the Rumour shade too, and the same thing on my eye, you know what I mean? Like, it's the same color, this is the same tube, and it's really pretty under the eye, but you have to do it in a two-part step that I'm gonna keep mentioning and talk about momentarily, so you'll kind of like understand like the two-part step of that. But this resells for, I think it's like £9 British, so that's probably like $10 US or something like that. I don't know, but really good, really thick, creamy base, and I really like it under the eye. And there's a range of different colors there. I think it goes from 0 to 12, I believe, so you know, you can really find out your shade. But this one works. The number 2 is beautiful on all skin tones. Like I said, I'm a chocolate brown. And I still use 2 under my eyes. So yeah. Right. This is my go-to at the moment. I've been using this one pretty much every day, unless I'm doing like a video where here like I'm specifically using something else. This is the Nars Soft Matte Complete Concealer in shade Light 2.4 Cafe au Lait. This is the perfect dupe for the MAC palette. This retails for, I think, $34. It blends out beautifully. It doesn't crease up under your eye. If you're having creasing issues, I definitely recommend that you use a damp beauty blender to buff all these products into your skin, number one, just so that you can go ahead and smooth those in. And then once you get your concealers down, that's when you want to go in with your powder and really push those products in as well. That way it prevents you from creasing up. So this next concealer is kind of in between. So this one I would just do 2 different colors, which I'm going to show you. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer. I've mentioned these on my channel numerous times. And I love these concealers. And another one that's pretty similar, but a little bit more liquidy, so I'm going to mention this again momentarily, is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealers. Yeah, and this is the only one that I use. I have one in my actual skin tone, and then I have one that I contour with. So that tells you a lot. But I'm going to mention these again when I move on. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer. Guys, these concealers are like the perfect dupe for the, if I can get it open. Perfect dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. The consistency, the formula, the coverage, the pigment, the shade range reminds me so much of Tarte Shape Tape. It is the perfect dupe. I haven't bought a Tarte Shape Tape since I discovered this concealer, honestly. And I feel like that says a lot, because I remember when Tarte Shape Tape was the holy grail. So as for the 2-part step when it comes to these, I would just use 2 different colors. So I use amber first, and I use that on all of the light reflecting areas. And as for the second part of the concealer, my concealer routine, I would go in with the lighter one, only directly under my eyes. And sometimes I do a little bit on the nose, depending on how I'm feeling, depending on how snatched I want my nose to look. You know, you really just have to play around with it to see what you like and what you're going for. But I would use the lighter one just under the eye and on the bridge of the nose. And you want to use a liquid concealer to do that. Why do you want to use a liquid concealer to do that? Think of it as like a polish. A liquid concealer is going to be what? Thinner than a creamier concealer. So think of it like gel polish. You know, once you get your gel nails or you get acrylic put on, next thing they put on is what? A liquid top coat. So that's how you kind of want to think of it. And that top coat smooths out all over, right? It just glides all the way over there. It gives you that beautiful sheen, that beautiful coverage. You know what I mean? Just like a polish does. So that's what you want your concealer, this brightening concealer, to do. You want it to fill in everything. That way you just look naturally lit from within, extra super bright and smooth and radiant, and just that super bright under eye that you're going for. It's not necessary to do it all the time if this is not for you. But if you are really trying to master that bright under eye, then I highly 100% recommend that this is what you do, okay? If you use the PLouise base as your sculpting your first concealer, you definitely need to go on top of that with the liquid concealer, just because it'll help it set it a little bit more and help you not give it a little bit more long-lasting approach, but just to help it build itself a little bit more, if that makes sense. Oh, and the shades that I use in the L'Oreal concealers are going to be Amber and Oatmeal. So Oatmeal is the brighter one. Amber is the first step. Oatmeal is the second step. So, keep going on to creamier, more liquid concealers. My favorite of all time, and I just feel like this concealer is just like potion in a bottle. And it kind of like goes with the powder, because I do my powders the same way. But like I said, that is a separate video, just because, you know what I'm saying. It's just yeah. It is the Hourglass Veil Concealer in the color, I was about to say, now I know I ain't never bought no vanilla. I was about to trip. In the color Beach. This is the Hourglass Vanish Concealer. Super liquid concealer. It blends so beautifully on top of the Nars, on top of the PLouise. It's just a really, really pretty finish. And then once you go in with your, like, I do 2 setting powders as well. I know it sounds like a lot, but I promise it's not a lot. Just to also help smooth and liquid and blend those out, just to mattify it and really make it uniform. And I hope this is making sense, because it's making sense as it's coming out of my mouth. But I feel like when I get ready to watch this, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck? But it's still going up though. Period. Like, you just got, sometimes you just gotta trust me. Like, I feel like I ain't stirred y'all wrong. Have I stirred y'all wrong before? No, I have not. So, the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. This concealer is really, really, it's almost like a foundation in a bottle with the formula of it. So, that's why I love using it as my part 2. I've never used this as a first step to my makeup routine. I just haven't, just because it really lifts. It really lifts and it really brightens. So if you're going to use this as your number 1, I recommend going only like 2 to 3 shades lighter than your natural self. Just so that it doesn't go too wonky. You know what I mean? Like, this is one of those concealers that you have to use with a full coverage foundation. It will not work with a medium to light coverage. It just won't. It's just not in this market. It's not what it does. You know what I mean? So, another thing that you want to keep in mind, now that I'm on like the color and how light that you should go. When it comes to your creamier bases, that's the ones that you, if you're new to makeup, you want to kind of like stay within like the, I hate when they say 2 to 3, because honestly 2 to 3 is just not working. It's honestly, I would say 3 to 4, so that you can really see a difference and really like see that bright under eye, you know what I mean, without looking like a casket Mary. Not necessarily a casket Mary, because that's like referencing flashback, but without overdoing it, you know what I mean. And that also comes to placement and blending, because once you place your concealer somewhere, that's where you want to blend it out at. Now, if you place your concealer here and you blending it all over your face, of course you're gonna look 40 shades lighter. That's not what you want. And I feel like people get that misconstrued when they see someone with a bright under eye. They be like, oh, her foundation is too light. No, baby. No. Anybody that says that are people that do not know makeup. And that's not to be rude. It's not to be mean. You know what I mean? And then also you have to keep in mind, like, sometimes other people's makeup style is just not your cup of tea. And if that's the case, mind your business. Because there is no right or wrong way. Like I like to say, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is my method. You know, clearly you want to know my method because you're here. I mean, you wouldn't be here if you didn't want to know. I mean, and if I done offend you, go ahead, click off. Because I just... Period. Alright guys, and the last concealer that I'm going to mention in this video, just because I don't know how to describe it, but I just love it. Like, it's just like, it's just so good. And like, this concealer, just, you put it on and you just feel so pretty. Like, I promise you, just, it's in a really close compare. Like, these, I know they're all prestige. I know. And it's all, these are all like part 2 concealers also. So I think it's because like this is what really like gives my face that pop, that wow factor. And I just feel like, you know, just, that razzle my task. I just don't know. I don't know which is my favorite. That's why it's like, all of these are my favorites. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, don't get me wrong, like, all of these concealers, they're my babies. Even my ones that didn't make it to this video, they're my babies. You know, my entire makeup collection, like the thousands of dollars that I've spent on this, I love each and every one of you in their own special type of way. You know, like, it may be a little OCD of me to, like, talk like this about them, but they're my babies, and I love them. You know what I mean? Like, and I can never replace you, you know? ever. I love everything that I've ever bought. It's just, but your mommy's special little bunches of joy, because they're really what made my channel. You know, they're what make my face. They're what make me look so good. You know. Anywho, this Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. It's not a liquid. It's not a cream. But I use this in my part 2. Sometimes I use it in my part 1 and my part 2, just in 2 different colors. But that's really weird. But I usually mainly just use this as my part 2. And it's just so good. I just don't know how to describe the formula. This formula is so dreamy, and I know it looks like it's such a little amount of product, because I thought that too when I first got it. I was like, is this a lipstick? Because it looks like a liquid lipstick, you know, because it's small, but I think it's the same as the other ones. Let's see. Okay, it's not the same as the other ones, but that's okay. It's 6 ounces, but I don't give a damn if it was 4. It's so good. It is a prestige, and I know it's like $36, but guys, sometimes you just have to splurge, because good things come to good people, and good people like good things. And you know, you work hard, you know, sometimes you deserve to have a little treat to yourself, and this is a more than a treat, baby. This like dick in a bottle. It's just so good. It's so good. So good. And another really good thing about, how do I say this? So like the best part about all of these concealers that I've mentioned, and the 2-part process that I take to get there, it really does the work for you. If you just get a liquid and a cream, even if you are unsure of what you are doing, if you just do what I just said, do your creams first. Put your creams in your highlight areas where you want to attract the most light. That's where you want to apply your cream concealer. So you would take this and you would put it under your eye, your forehead, down your nose, on your chin. That's your highlighted areas. And then you go in with the liquid on top, just directly under the eye, and an even brighter shade than the shade that you use for your cream. I promise you, you are going to love the result. So guys, that pretty much does it for this video. That's just kind of like my favorite concealers, and my 2-step process to my concealers. I used to let them sit and kind of like cook up a little bit. I don't necessarily do that anymore now that I do the 2-step, but you can definitely let the liquid sit on the creamy concealer just for a little bit. But all of these concealers, the pigment is so amazing that you really don't need to let it sit. That's a little drag hack that just went viral not too long ago. But I've been doing that for ages now. Like since I first started doing makeup, you want to like kind of like let it sit. But the thing with that is, if you're new to makeup, I don't suggest letting it sit at all, because it does make it a little bit more difficult to blend out. And also depending on what you're using to blend it out, you can start to drag and smudge your makeup, and you don't want to do that. You can easily do that if you're using a brush to blend out your concealers after you've let them sit. You know what I mean? I always recommend blending out your concealers with a sponge, just because it gives that bouncy look on the skin. Like it just looks like, you know, like hydration. Like you just been drinking your water, you've been eating your fruit, you've been minding your business, and you might be the pettiest bitch on your block. But that under eye ain't. And that's on period. Big perk. So guys, thank you for tuning into this video. I guess I might make this like a series, like a teach and learn, or like a look and learn type of thing, where, you know, I like just tell you my favorite products, and then I like come back and I give you the video where it's like I'm like going in depth with it. But it will be hard to do that using all of these concealers, because you You know what I mean? Like, it's my favorite one. I don't know how I would do that. But, you know, let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know what you want to see from me in my next video. I will add it to the calendar if it's not already on there. I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. And I will see y'all in my next video. Bitch finna go to sleep. Ready to go night-night.